Nate Robinson's death remains an elephant in the room next week in Emmerdale as John Sugden secretly revels in the secrecy, but walls could start closing in on him when Moira Dingle, Natalie J. Robb, makes a huge discovery. The paramedic played by Oliver Farnworth has been hiding in plain sight while Nate's family have tried to get in touch with the hunk, from his confused wife Tracy, Amy Walsh, to his shocked father Kane, Jeff Hoadley. But will his secrets be uncovered? Over in Coronation Street, Kit Green, Jacob Roberts, is rattled when he bumps into a newcomer on the cobbles. And it becomes clear he's keeping plenty of secrets from his loved ones in Weatherfield. Meanwhile, Harvey and Jean's relationship in EastEnders is slowly heading towards the rocks as the Slaters still reel after Martin Fowler's death. But can the couple, respectively portrayed by Ross Boatman and Gillian Wright, overcome the rough patch? Elsewhere, small soaps will have their own share of twists and turns. Things are coming to a head in Hollyoaks while Darcy's true motives in Neighbours are slowly coming to light. Emmerdale. John secretly enjoys the attention over his upcoming Heroism Award, but he misses the event when he prioritizes Aaron, who has a mental health crisis. Vic, Isabel Hodgins, and Tracy later hold a celebration in the Woolpack to make it up to him, but Mackenzie, Lawrence Robb, is annoyed to have missed out and he's jealous of John and Aaron's Danny Miller relationship. Later, stags gather for the stag do, excited for their paintballing plans, but Mac is left uneasy when he receives a chilling warning from John. Battle begins in the woods and Mac is determined to thwart Joel, no matter the cost. Could it backfire? Moira discovers a serious leak with the slurry tank and Mac gets the blame. However, everyone feels guilty when Kane reports the slurry has affected the village's main water supply and young Harry is rushed to hospital after having drunk some of the contaminated water. Moira is also thrown when she receives a letter addressed to the family of Emma Barton and she wrestles with their conscience as she chooses whether or not to tell Ross. Later, Moira is haunted by memories of her past. Elsewhere, living arrangements are causing Liam, Johnny McPherson, unease when he catches Mandy, Lisa Riley, in an unguarded moment. Trouble then intervenes when Manpreet drops a bombshell on the village GP. Mick and Gary are embroiled in a confrontation next week, but the newcomer has an unsuspected connection with Kit. Coronation Street. At the wedding fair, Leanne, Jane Danson, isn't happy about the position of the speed dial pitch, and Debbie, Sue Devaney, tries to ignore her. But she's left floundering when she loses her clipboard, and Leanne makes things worse with her comments. Debbie loses her temper, attempting to move the stand herself but she cuts her hand in the process. In the bistro, Abby, Sally Carmen, and Debbie order soft drinks with lunch but Debbie switches to a large vodka when Ronnie, Vinter Morgan, arrives. Drunken Debbie later staggers to the loo as she tells Abby she's had some bad news. Mick takes a swig of his tea and spits it out. Liam laughs, he's laced the drink with washing powder. Determined to make him pay, Mick locks Liam in the tool shed, but his actions have dire consequences with Gary, Mikey North, and Maria, Samia Longchambon. Elsewhere, Kit is taken aback when he sees Lou in the pub. Lou tells Tracy that she and Kit go way back. Later, when Bernie calls at Kit's flat, hoping he'll open up about his woes, flashbacks reveal Kit's checkered past, and the secrets that bind him to Mick and Lou. Lauren confesses to Bobby she had no choice but to use the money he gave her for a deposit on the flat. Bobby makes a huge decision. EastEnders. Harvey prepares for the Slaters' camping trip but Jean refuses to go without Stacy. Harvey manages to convince Stacy to come, but his work is undone when Lily insists she doesn't want Stacy to tag along. Harvey tries to seek solace with Kathy, Gillian Tailforth, in the cafe but he receives the cold shoulder. Later, Jean takes him by surprise by popping the question. Vicky and Ross worry over Joel's recent behavior and she tries to persuade Ross to talk with Ravi, Aaron Thyera, and Priya, Sophie Khan-Levy. Instead, Ross seeks out Avani, unaware that Suki is watching from afar. Suki's suspicions grow when both Avani and Ross give different accounts of events, forcing Vicky to reveal Avani slept with Joel. Later on, a huge confrontation ensues at number 43 as Ravi sees red. Gina grows concerned for Harry and secretly shares her worries with Teddy and Nicola when they accost her in the Minute Mart. The couple head to the Arches to speak with Harry but he dismisses their worries before riling at Gina. Jay warns Gina about the blossoming friendship, but is he right to worry? Meanwhile, Linda, Kelly Bright, is confused when Phil, Steve McFadden, is reluctant to call Sharon and he reveals she's slept with Grant. Later, Linda tries to persuade Phil to give Sharon a chance. Hollyoaks. Tony and Diane are trying to encourage Ro to open up, but he lies that he's been attending a support group. When Diane decides to pay the group a visit, Ro is nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, the lad slips quietly into the flat above the dog, contemplating suicide. Rex and Sweet are anxious when Lucas plans to fly abroad with Dylan and Frankie. But when Frankie gets another chance with Ray, both she and Dylan are caught red-handed as Ray collapses. Elsewhere, Prince helps Freddie plan a surprise proposal for Mercedes. Wendy is having doubts about Andrew in Neighbor's image, courtesy of Prime Neighbors. Wendy is doubtful Andrew is being unfaithful, but Nicolette continues to cast doubt and insists she could catch him with a fake profile. Later, Nicolette makes a huge discovery. Meanwhile, Darcy checks Amanda's shares and sees they've risen in price. He later searches Amanda's apartment for her shareholding documents. But he quickly becomes concerned his real intentions will be exposed. Meanwhile, Carl arranges to meet up with a former Erinsborough resident, determined to get to the truth. Elsewhere, Paul balances two women in his life before making a grand gesture. Rose is on her way out of the Bay in Home and Away image, shared content unit Home and Away. Ziggy and Mackenzie are in mortal danger when they're forced to drive two escaped prisoners, leaving Dean and Levi in hot pursuit. Kirby and Bree treat Rose to lunch for her last day at work as the detective gears up for an emotional exit. Meanwhile, Cash encounters members of the gang the River Boys and he's determined to know more about the reports of street racing. Justin catches Marilyn on the phone pretending to be Rue. She's fishing for information on Eliza's past. But what will she find?